Welcome back to First Steps with Rob and Jules. We Alright, man, we didn't even make it to a minute and you're killing yourself over there.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm alfalfering. Welcome back to First Steps with Rob and Jules, where the purpose of our show is to detail our journey and struggles and pull out some of the knowledge that helps us move forward positively. Today we're talking about generational upbringing and are we setting up the next generation for failure or success?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you kick it off with defining the generations?
So, as far as I know, the first one is maturists.
Yep.
And then the second generation is the...
Do you want me to give you years?
Yes, please.
All right. Let's do this together then. All right. So, you got maturists, and they were born pre-1945.
Okay. So, during the World Wars.
Yes. Yep.
And then you have the baby boomers.
Yep. So they were 1945 to 1960.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you have Gen X.
Yep. So Gen X 1961 to 1980.
Yep. And then you have Gen Y, which is widely known as millennials.
Mm-hmm. So they're 1981 to 1995. And
then you have Gen Z.
Yes, which is born after 95.
I think they're called I generation.
The next generation after?
Yeah, Gen Z. I think they're I generation.
They're also called the Alpha generation as well.
Ooh, Alpha.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the Alpha. It's kind of intimidating, that name, like Alpha.
It's like, okay, what are we then?
I know. Ooh, millennial. Millennials thrown around like such a bad thing as well.
Know. Yeah.
It's like, you fucking millennial. It's like, well, I'm a person too. I actually thought I was a different generation. Like, I was like, I'm a Gen Xer for sure. You know what I mean? And then when it hit me and when I seen and we did, like, you told me, like, you're a millennial. It was like...
To say it like that?
Yeah, it was like, come down. You're a millennial. I was like, shit. But I didn't think that... I thought millennials were, like, right on, like, 2000. I didn't think it was, like, 95. But I'm guessing it's because by the time you sort of matured and hit your teens and everything, you were firmly in the 2000s, so you're a millennial.
Yeah. Wait, what are the years again?
81 to 95.
Yeah, so well, yeah, shit. That's before the millennium.
Yeah, but they would have grown up in the millennium.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Like working at the turn of the century and yeah. Yeah.
I remember when it hit year 2000 and everybody thought the world was going to end.
I know. I thought like day one of the year 2000 was going to be completely different.
I know. But you know what's funny is that millennium year 2000 and everybody thought the world was going to end. But the previous years, like, they had wars and nobody thought the world was going to end.
Yeah. They're fighting to keep the world.
Yeah.
Like, in order.
Okay. So, there's 3 topics that I want to talk about in when highlighting the key differences between generations. One is parental conditioning, the other one is tech, and the other one are current events, which are the 3 main factors of, like, the difference in each generation.
Right.
So what do you think are the, relative to those three factors, what do you pick up as like the main key differences in each generation?
It's a good question. I think for me, there's a properness to like anyone that is in that older sort of bracket, more mature sort of bracket. There's like this properness to them, where the slang is different, the lingo is different, how they connect with younger generations is different.
Yeah.
How they connect to technology is different. If you've ever had a grandfather that would call you like on how to like set up their inbox like on a new computer
Or Facebook.
yeah.
I swear, my grandma's got 50 Facebook accounts.
Then like that to me sort of sticks out. The way they drive, the way they give directions, the like the personality traits and attributes that they define as like valuable.
Yeah.
And that greatly sort of drives how they connect with other people.
So where, like, to break it down, where are the differences? Like, say if you like maturists to baby boomers to Gen X and so forth. Like actually going into those generations, what are the key differences?
Well, maturists, so a properness, definitely be one. Very set in their ways. Very, very hard to change.
Yeah.
For me, baby boomers, like maybe, I think it's looking at the joys that they get from family.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, like in my family, the baby boomers had big families.
Yeah.
So, like, they get, they're more content with having their family surround them. Like, that's what they want above all. So, valuing the love from their families.
Yeah.
And then Gen X's, I'd be looking at my brother and sister, and it's very career, almost material things. Very musically cultured.
Yeah.
More in line with fashion.
Okay.
And also, I think like there's a lot of pride there, as in, I'm not as focused on fixing things within myself. But also, like, I find there's a lot of hurt in that generation too.
Yeah.
Gen Y, or our generation, millennials, I kind of find like this is the generation that is almost defined by anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Mental health awareness increased during this generation.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of people that I've talked to within my generation that talk about anxiety. And then like our son Brody, seeing him kind of latch on to technology. Like he can't get by one day without technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
Know what I mean? And the speed of that, the speed of being satisfied. So he doesn't give time and understand that some things take time.
Yeah.
He's very like he's kind of very well versed in terms of you can order some food. You can just buy it online. Do you have your password? Like things like that.
entitled.
Yeah, because of the speed that they now get things.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you reckon?
100%. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I don't know too much about maturists, but guessing like living in times of like war, like World War I, World War II.
Mm.
Um, back then would have been this major sort of split between men and women,
Yeah.
race, and then to all sort of get forced to come together and fight another country.
Mm.
So I think like a lot of big things happened in the mature state generation
Yep.
that flowed through to baby boomers, who sort of I think would have been the generation to then rebel,
Mm-hmm.
and then to value, like you said, value family life. I mean, like how many siblings did your grandmother have?
A lot. And like a lot, and she also had siblings that she lost.
Yeah.
Due to I think there was I don't know if it was Spanish flu or what that she kind of went through.
Oh,
You
that
know
would
what I
have been in the Maturus, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she lost a lot of siblings
Yeah.
to some sickness or disease. Yeah.
Mm. The other thing that the Maturists went through as well is the Great Depression, which is
Yeah.
another big thing that happened in their time. So you can see where, like, baby boomers, by the time they came along, the wars ended. Everyone's now sort of getting back on their feet with, like, jobs and sort of, um, different way of living as well. That time also, I think that's when they started, protesting for women's rights, civil rights. It was almost like they had an awakening in that generation.
Yeah.
That things were like, there was so much awareness now that things were changing. They clung on to their families a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, but then they were also like sort of fighting now, sort of, I have rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so that would have, I think, would have had an impact on, the workforce as well, with a lot more women now wanting to enter the workforce,
Yep.
and a lot more other type of businesses. I don't know, fashion, sewing, whatever other businesses that women started, bringing into the world.
You're right. Yeah.
And then I think around that time they started the first computer came out as well. So it was also a big tech change as well. Like,
Yep.
Back then it was like just a box TV, and now you have a computer.
Yeah.
So it's like all these things sort of just like almost, what's the word, skyrocketed. Like from, nothing to now, all these new inventions, all these new rights, all
Yep.
these, and then so then Gen X came along, and it's like, well, I look at them, like I look at my mom's, where like, their generation seems to be a lot more freer, if that's the word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it was a lot of parties, a lot of, highly influenced by music. Like the music industry was massive back then.
Yeah.
Fashion, like style drastically changed from, baby boomer to Gen X. Yeah. And then to us, also Gen X, I don't know about baby boomers, but Gen X, like, they could leave their kids at home by themselves while the parents are at work.
Yep.
So like now that you've got, parents that are working full time, both parents, there's no more stay at home moms.
Yep.
So that, the kids sort of came home and they were like probably had an hour by themselves. Kids
Yeah.
were like can walk to school back. And,
Mm.
like my mom always talk about like how back then they were walking here and there. They'd stay out, play with their friends, and and then they come home and it's dark.
Yeah.
Something that we would never, in our lifetime, like what?
Yeah.
Like how? But yeah, so like everything was just a lot less strict. And then parents were a lot more focused on work, so kids were sort of like kind of experimenting then. Like yeah, and then come our generation. So what I studied was millennials. There's two types. There's Y1 and then there's Y2. Y1, I don't know which one is closer to the Gen X, and then the other one is more closer to Gen Z. But there's a difference because there was a massive sort of, like in the middle, tech became the biggest thing. So we were there before, and we're also there like as soon as it hit.
Right. Yep.
So like in our lifetime, like we went from when we grew up, we had nothing. We didn't have phone. We had the Nokias.
Yeah. I only seen a Nokia though when I was like 10.
Yeah. But we had Nokia. Like there were cell phones in our generation, but they were like the old ones, and then we had the Nokia come out when we were kids. And that was like just text, call. There was no picture. There was no camera on there. We had Snake as our entertainment.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden,
But it never broke.
Yeah. To this day. But yeah, and then from like in our lifetime, from that to an iPhone, which is like a huge, what do you call it, achievement in in that business. But yeah, we were alive in those in that time where like there was a massive transition with tech, and tech became it's become a big thing, and that sort of influenced our lives. So like a lot of our generation now, I find, is I guess the same as how Gen X was with baby boomers. We're also sort of looking at the previous generation and be like, I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job.
Yep.
Whereas the Gen X were looking at baby boomers and like, I want a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we're like, nah, there's more like, I don't want to work for somebody. I want to like, start my own business. I want to earn my own money.
Yep.
I don't want to, like I want to do more with my life than just work a 9-to-5 job. You're already seeing that change. Like a lot of like I look at Facebook and a lot of my friends are already like they've bought how many properties.
Yeah.
They already like have businesses. So like totally different mindset with millennials and Gen X.
Also, a lot of my friends in like primary school and high school had parents that had divorced. So you almost seen like the rise of the step parent during that time.
Yeah. And like, I mean, tech with, like I say tech the most because that's pretty much the biggest thing that's happening in our generation.
Yeah.
But you can see how much of an impact it's happening on our lives, like the end of this sort of millennial phase, and how it's now, the norm for Gen Z.
Yeah.
And like, I'm excited and I'm scared because like I know that Brody's generation is going to be so different to ours. Like we've still got a little bit of that Gen X mentality in where we, with parenting, it's sort of like school's important, uni, your future and all of that. Whereas like the more and more tech's sort of changing everything, it's like, well, do they need school? Like, you don't want to just, I don't know, go do work experience or go do a apprenticeship, like drop out and do apprenticeship, and then sort of build a business from there.
Yep.
Like, it's so different.
Yeah. We've almost seen like the reliance on school drop and the reliance on skill increase.
Yeah. But I don't think it's the reliance on school. Like, I mean, if you look at Gen X, school was a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
in order
so they
to,
would enforce it on their kids.
yeah. But at the time, because tech wasn't a big thing back then, like, how you get a job is through your qualification. So you had to go to school.
Yeah.
You had to get a degree to get a good job.
Yeah.
And it for the first half of the millennials, I think that's still the case. But now people are sort of like, nah, like, I can do a YouTube video and hit big, and I'll be, and I don't even have to go to school for that. They're just bloody, those kids, 7, 8-year-olds that are earning like 70 million
Yeah.
just opening toys. Like, who would have ever thought that?
Yeah.
Whereas you had like our, parents' generation sort of like having to, you have to work hard, go to school, study, go to uni, and then, start from the bottom of the business, work your way up.
Yeah.
Like, that was the life back then. Now it's just like anybody can sort of get to that level.
Yeah. Sorry. Itchy ear.
But yeah. So let's go into why, like, breaking down the key differences. I mean, looking at the key differences that we were talking about, why is there a difference? I think we touched on it a little bit, but
technology.
yeah,
Like technology would be a massive one because that's pushed how we interact forward. It's also given us a lot more visibility.
yeah,
It's also given us a lot more say. We're more vocal.
yeah,
But like it's a big part of our entertainment as well. How we sort of occupy ourselves is based on technology.
yeah,
Like we've got streaming services, we've got YouTube. If we wanted to, we could spend 24 hours a day and have enough content to get us through. Like across the different websites that we use, shopping online, watching YouTube for our kids.
yeah,
Streaming services, Facebook, social media,
yeah,
everything is massive. And I think like that really like flows into like because we have this visibility, we also use that to kind of judge ourselves and compare our lives with other people. Which for me is where I kind of see the increase of mental health.
That's true. Like, why? I mean, and I've seen this a lot. Why do parents sort of look at their kids and, sort of almost, I don't know, put them down for being entitled, if that makes sense? Like, say for example, my mom would look at my younger sisters who are Gen Z, and she's Gen X.
Yeah.
So to her, it's like, how do you not know this? Like, when I was young, like, my parents, if they tell me to do something, I do it straight away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's also that discipline or that, respect that's sort of lost in generations as well.
Yeah, but
But is it though? Like,
is the respect lost?
Yeah.
I think the expectation of respect is there from older generations, but I think the younger generations value different things and therefore they reflect different things.
Yes.
But because we've got parents that are twice removed in terms of generations, so my mom's a baby boomer that's
Yeah.
raising a millennial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your mom's a Gen Xer raising the alpha generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, they're removed from the spectrum of what kids are into these days. And how you can't connect with that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that connection is so vital. Like, we don't find value in the stuff that Brody finds value in.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it drives me insane to see kids just open up 300 smasher eggs or something like that. And I'm just like, why is this entertaining? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Like, for me, I look at Brody and I'm like, man, it's not even your birthday. You're getting all these presents. I had to wait, like, Christmas once
Yeah.
a year, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
This
right.
guy gets it every day.
And, like, again, I think that's what we value. Where, like, what we place value on is giving him the upbringing that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Like, we want to give him that stuff that we wish we could have had.
Yeah.
So we're vicariously living our lives through him, and we're placing all this stuff on him, and like we're appreciating it more than he does.
I think that's also why there's a split between millennials like Y1 and Y2,
Right.
because Gen X find it so hard to sort of get into tech that's out now. You know what I mean? Whereas the beginning of the millennials, so are a lot more inclined to sort of adapt. Whereas Gen X is still like a bit far behind. It's almost like two generations in millennials.
Right.
You got the ones that grew up before tech, and then the ones that grew up during tech.
Right. Yeah.
Like we grew up like in the middle, pretty much.
Yeah. Whereas a alpha gen. You keep laughing when I say alpha gen.
Because even just alpha gen, like they say, don't call them entitled, but alpha, like, really?
Well, alpha gen, right? They know technology, but a Gen Xer might be disconnected from that. So it's like, well, you're not keeping up.
Yeah.
So they just outpace their parents.
Yeah, true.
Like for us, we're limited by what we know. Whereas when Brody was younger, he wasn't. And he would do things with the iPad that we didn't even know that he could do.
Yeah.
Remember? He was like, just because he wasn't limited.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if we're, I'm just going to go there.
Go there.
Race. Has that improved over the generations?
What do you mean? What do you mean race?
Like,
Racism?
yes. I know.
No. I'll be honest and I'll say racism hasn't improved over the generations. It's just gotten more visibility. And I think that's like Will Smith made a quote as well. He said, racism like never disappeared. It's just being filmed now.
True.
I totally agree with him. And that like the rise of social media, the rise of the internet, like we get visibility on everything from the biggest riot to the smallest fight in a Krispy Kreme donut shop in South Bronx or something like that in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're getting millions of sources, billions of sources feeding in.
Ah, okay. I disagree.
Okay.
I think it's improved, but not to the expectations that everybody think it should be. But I think it has improved.
Okay.
If you look at where they were when they were protesting in the civil rights back then, it was segregation. Like it was it was in the law that you had to split colored people and white people.
It was still like alive and kicking in South Africa when I left
Yeah, so that's why I wanted
with
to talk to you.
apartheid.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like you were actually born in South Africa, which is probably like the king of racist countries.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it was a really racist country
Yeah.
back then. I mean, on my birth certificate it says Cape Coloured.
Jeez.
So like, it was very sort of focused on race.
Yeah.
Even though like my genetic makeup, like I look like a white kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my background is not like white.
Yeah.
Like the
The blonde eye, blue,
Yeah.
blonde hair, blue eyes.
yeah. And like I don't remember the bad things there.
Yeah.
I remember poverty there.
Yeah.
I remember not discriminating. Like in my youth, like I would go with my the people that worked for my grandfather, the colored people.
Yeah.
I would go with them and like go hang out with them and stuff like that. Like it never crossed my mind that they were different.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of my environment.
Okay.
I think that sort of shit is taught. And again, you sort of have that generation removed, implanting those ideas and that fear of something different or having something removed from you. Like you create that hate.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we even seen it in like Invictus, right? Like when Mandela came into power, everyone in Parliament that was with the party before was clearing out all their stuff.
Yeah.
Because they were thinking
He was
just gonna
get
like
rid of
fire everyone
Yeah.
that was white.
Yeah. So like, glad you touched on Mandela. You came to Australia when apartheid ended.
No, apartheid was still going until like 95?
Oh shit! What
Yeah,
year did
I mean-
you?
92.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Apartheid was still going. Like my parents chose to come to Australia or to go to Canada.
Damn.
It's funny, hey, because Canada was a free state.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if you look back, Civil War sort of history, Canada was a free state.
Jeez.
I don't know if that subconsciously influences those decisions. We did have family in Canada too.
Wow.
Yeah, I could have been Canadian right now,
Oh no.
but I'm Australian. We wouldn't be having this conversation, but still, unless you were
How
Canadian.
would you have survived in the cold? You can't even handle it here.
Like 6 pairs of thermals. That's what I layers. But we came to Australia for a better life. That was the reason that my parents left. Where they didn't see a future for us in that environment.
Yeah. Like, I know at that time you were here in Australia, but did you ever hear from like, your family in South Africa once apartheid ended, what life was like after that?
I only remember the bad things that my mom would tell me.
Oh, okay.
So I remember things like everyone was getting their windows barred up. They were gating the front of their houses. There was car bombs and people burning tires in the streets.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Um, if you don't mind me asking, colored people or white people doing that?
Um, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
And fast forward to now, what do you think the country's like now?
I don't know. And this is the thing. I don't want to go back there.
Jeez.
So in my mind, I think of all the things that has been passed down in terms of the negative things.
Ah, and built up. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's like my parents, it was about protecting their family, keeping them safe.
Yeah.
So when you talk about, hey, let's go to South Africa, for me, the first thing that pops into my mind is car bombs, home invasions, that sort of
Jeez.
stuff.
And yeah, like your mom has been back pretty recently as well.
Yeah, in the last like 5-ish years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like she said that, nothing happened. She came home safe.
Yeah.
And your grandfather got married there recently.
Yeah.
I've seen your cousins flying back and forth. So there must have been a change in South Africa since
Yeah,
apartheid.
there was the World Cup. There was the FIFA World Cup there.
Yeah.
Remember? So they were cracking down on crime, sort of refurbishing everything, bringing the country like up. Tourism there was a lot of tourism there.
Wow. So
Yeah.
do you think that racism in South Africa improved?
I don't know. I don't know if racism in South Africa improved.
Well,
I can't speak on it from assumptions. You know what I mean? Like I don't live in this country.
yeah, true. But the fact that apartheid ended, wouldn't that be a big sort of like?
Oh, 100%. But was it consistently sort of advocated that like it wasn't black and white?
Yeah.
That it was the Rainbow Nation?
Like I don't think you could ever get rid of racism,
No,
and
100% no.
but I think that it has improved over time. Like the because right now the biggest thing that's happening is Black Lives Matter, and then we have the George Floyd incident, and everybody's just going crazy over there.
Yeah.
And it's now starting to impact other countries just by seeing that.
Yeah.
And like I had assumed that it has improved. So kids sort of like, because their brains are like sponges, so
Yeah.
if they're not exposed to something that they've never seen before and then they see it, of course they're going to be scared of it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like in their minds they'll build it up a certain way, and it's not the right way. So I don't think we've sort of really tackled that directly.
I remember when Brody was in preschool
Yes.
and he had never sort of met someone that was like African or African American, someone that was a lot darker than
Yeah.
Islanders
Yeah, and it's funny
or my
because
family.
yeah, 'cause, like I have dark skin, and but seeing an African child in his class, he was scared. He had an African teacher as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And we worked hard to give him exposure
Yeah.
so that he understood that there's people in different parts of the world that look differently, but they are the same.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about the fear, like creating fear in that situation. For
Yeah.
us, it was like for us, it was not reacting that he would sense that there's fear there, that like this empathy and love,
Yeah.
as if it was like, any person on the planet.
Yeah. And it was like on us too that, we didn't sort of think ahead.
Mm.
Like I didn't even think like to me, because to me it's like it's normal. Like I didn't ever think that Brody would, actually go through that, because I thought, okay, well, we're not racist.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate, so
That's right.
he's just going to be like that.
Mm.
But we don't know what goes on in a child's mind,
That's
that
right.
if they're not exposed to something, they're so scared of it.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest eye-opener for me. And that's why I really think that parents need to really tackle it directly
Yeah.
and not avoid it.
That's right.
A lot of us get uncomfortable when we talk about
Yeah.
the colors of skin and sexual preferences and stuff, but that's gonna be it's gonna be around in their generation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we touched on that with Brody as well. Like we said, there's some families that have two mummies, two daddies.
Yeah.
Like there are like many different families.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not to be sort of scared of that. That's not different.
Yeah.
Like everything is love.
Yeah. And it's funny with Brody, when that first happened to him, I had no idea what to do. Like I really did not have any idea what to do.
Yeah.
Because to me it was like, mommy's dark too. Like you don't have to be scared. Like, they're just a different shade. Like whatever I was saying wasn't getting through to him.
Yep.
And I actually asked his the director of his school. I was like, straight up.
Yeah.
He's like, Brody is uncomfortable to sit next to a darker child. Like, can you help me? Give me some advice. What can I do at home so that it helps him when he's at school? And that's like realizing that it's on me, that I should have done it before, but I just had no clue, and I needed somebody to give me advice. And she said, try and give him a lot more exposure. Watch a lot of videos of different countries and the people in those countries, different cultures, and not just black people. Look at Asians, look at Europeans, look at and then look at white people, even like albinos. So she said, every now and then watch a video with him and just like sort of get him like, talk about the different cultures, the different people, what they wear and all of that. That was really, really good advice.
Yeah. I mean, overall, like across gender, race, sexual preference, disability, I think the key might be exposure.
Yeah.
Like exposing him to as many different ethnicities, family makeups, disabilities, like might be the key to unlocking like his empathy for everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're trying to drive with him. Like I think that's our mission, is to get him understanding the differences.
Yeah.
Like not as in creating a divide, but creating acceptance and love.
Yeah, 100%.
And I kind of find that it'd work if he wasn't like just stuck on his iPad all the time and so tech focused.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't lift his head up enough to take notice of the world.
Yeah, but have you noticed he's a lot more accepting now?
Yeah.
And then like I noticed that on YouTube, he's like he has like Ryan's Toy Reviews, Seeking, and a lot of kids that are light skinned.
Gugu?
That was the only one, but then because of the lighting of the camera, like he didn't see that he's a lot darker than he actually is.
Okay.
But then TikTok comes along, and that's just anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
And
And
he-
because the lighting's not perfect all the
Yeah.
time.
And he's like, now he's just exposed to everything and anyone. And yeah, he's like okay with that.
So there's like this positive and this negative to technology.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how comfortable I am with it yet. Like I see the positives and the negatives and I'm like, is this adding value to him?
Yeah.
Or is this like driving negative behaviors for him?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to be that parent that's like, you can't have any technology. You're not going to do anything like that. I find is going to sway you away because I don't want to be disconnected.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to embrace it because I know that's the way into the future. But I kind of find that it drains a lot of his time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same, like, on the same tip, like, it exposes him to a lot more. Like, within his age range.
Yeah.
Like, we're not giving him a lot of... like, he doesn't have, like, this full unlocked iPad that he can just go crazy on.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Let's talk more about, the fear and the anxiety in the generations, and why it will affect in our generation, millennials, and why it will affect Gen Z, the alpha generation.
So I was raised by a baby boomer. And a lot of it was like based on, don't do that because this is what will happen.
Yeah.
Like the negative effects of doing something that's outside of your norm.
Yeah.
So a lot of that passed down. Like I kind of look at it like it's a negative thing in terms of creating that anxiety and that fear of something that's different. But then it also gave me like a very risk averse outlook on things. So I will know 100% like this is risky.
Yeah.
But then it's knowing the other side of, yeah, it's risky and it's outside of your comfort zone, which means that it's probably the right way to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like for you, I find you're not as risk averse. Am I saying this right? Risk averse.
I didn't even know what that
Trying
means.
to sound slick, but I could be just sounding stupid. But like it's like you don't like taking risks.
Me?
No, that's what risk averse means.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, like
So-
for me, I don't like taking risks.
Yeah.
Because it's outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I know that if I don't take risks, I'm not gonna move forward.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas I find with you, you are more willing to take risks. But I find for you, it's the confidence that's lower or was lower when I first met you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was raised by a Gen X, and I'm the eldest of 8. So I'm a millennial.
Yep.
But my my 2 younger sisters, oh no, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 siblings
Yep.
are in the Gen Z generation, the alpha generation. And it's funny because the way that my mom raised us, the first 3, the millennials, is so different to how she is with the younger ones.
Right.
And so with us, she was a lot more stricter. And also, maybe because Gen X's, not speaking for everyone, but like back then it was okay to hit your children
Yeah.
as a discipline.
Yep.
And so she sort of like carried that on to my parents carried that on to our generation. And like, so we grew up like if we did something wrong, we get hit, we get smacked.
Right. Yep.
These
Same.
ones, like the Gen Z, my mom she's so soft. She's so soft on them, and they do whatever they want, and they do more things that like I'm surprised they didn't get smacked for.
Yeah.
But I mean, like growing up, I'm like, didn't I didn't like being smacked, but um, at the same time, it taught me to be humble.
Yes.
Like that's the biggest thing for our generation, and living in that sort of, I don't know if it's a culture thing that get smacked, or but it taught me a lot of discipline. And but on the flip side, it also self-esteem was low, self-confidence was low,
Yep.
because it was just more about doing the right thing all the time. So I never sort of was allowed to sort of make mistakes or bump my head, or especially because I was the eldest of my siblings.
Right.
So I had to be that example. And so my upbringing is totally different to my younger siblings.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there's that gap as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a pretty big gap as well
Yeah.
from you to your younger siblings.
Yeah. And we're like, what the? She just stomped her feet.
So you were almost given a mission then.
What do you mean?
Like you were given like this mission, like you've got to be the role model.
Yeah.
You've got to be the best of us. Almost.
But I think that's from baby boomers. I don't know. Because I find that my mom, her generation, like their parents sort of enforced that on them, that, the first child or the first children are their right hands, and they're going to be the ones to look after the younger siblings.
You're right. Yeah.
And then that's a trait that sort of, followed in the next generations. But it, like, I can't say for my younger siblings, because they're my younger siblings. Like, I'm still the oldest.
Right. Yeah.
But just the way that they're treated is like, man, they're like royalty. Yeah.
Is it like royalty, or is it more, I'm not gonna disrupt your pattern?
I think it's more the lack of understanding of this generation. I think Gen X is still sort of trying to adapt to this new culture of like, high tech, of this new mentality that schools are not really that important because we can get money by gaming and YouTube and, and also like, social interactions are a lot different now. Like, kids are more sort of, they got more friends online than they do, physical friends.
Yep.
And because there's that lack of knowledge in tech as well, like Gen X, well, my mom sort of doesn't know much about tech. So she can't sort of monitor what these kids are doing, because tech is just rapidly changing. So she doesn't know how to sort of see what they're on TikTok. She doesn't even know what TikTok is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with like Snapchat. She has no idea what, like, what these kids are on these days.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, like, because it was before tech, like, she was able to monitor a lot of things that happen in our lives compared to this new generation.
True. Well, going back about 3 months, I wasn't on any social media. And to me, that's how I felt. Because I'd kind of been out the game for, roughly like 7-8 years, right?
Yeah.
Where I didn't touch any social media.
Yeah.
So when people were talking about Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter, TikTok, I was like, what the hell is this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I felt disconnected. It's only now that I've kind of dipped my toe back in
Yeah.
that I'm kind of getting that exposure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am so far behind any 12-year-old with a phone right now because I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like to our parents, all of this stuff is, a new world to them. Like, even this podcast, I'm
Yep.
still trying to explain that to my dad, what it is.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't understand what it is.
Right.
So, like, just seeing it, he's like, oh, radio?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, radio.
What time are you on? I'll tune in.
I know.
I remember you telling your dad what TikTok was.
Yeah. Yeah. That was yeah. Because my sister is my youngest sister is only about 12. And she's like hard out on TikTok. Like,
Yep.
posts every day. She's got about 20 something thousand likes on there. She's doing really well. She's got a for a 12-year-old, she's got a pretty massive following. Well, not massive, pretty big.
When I was 12, I had no idea what I never had one follower. You know what I mean? And it didn't matter to me.
Yeah. But kids these days, like, that's the biggest thing is, like, how many likes you get, how many followers you have. Everything is in the tech world now. Everything is digital. Digital matters more than reality.
Yeah.
And because my dad, he would be Gen X, beginning of Gen X, wouldn't he? 1960.
Your dad?
That would be like the first year of
Sorry, let me consult my. What was he?
1960.
He's baby boomer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I have a baby boomer parent and a Gen X parent
Wow.
looking after millennials and Gen Z. Well, all 4 generations.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is probably another reason why, like, mom and dad clash so much when it comes to, like, parental control.
Yeah.
And like, my dad's parenting style was a lot more strict than my mom's.
Yeah.
And also, but when it came to, like, we were talking about baby boomers and how they're so family oriented.
Yeah.
And that's my dad. So, like, my dad, the biggest thing for him is family first, does everything we do everything together.
Yeah.
Whereas, my mom's a lot more laid back.
Yeah.
But if we cross the line,
Then she gets into a baby boomer bag.
yeah. And yeah, so, like, my sister on TikTok, and my dad just has no clue. My mom's okay. Like, I explained to her once, because she's on social media as well.
Yeah.
Like, I explained to her once and she gets it. But that's after you sort of break it down to her. Whereas my dad, like, I will sit there for an hour and try and explain to it, and he just doesn't get it. Like,
Yeah.
my dad doesn't even know what an app is.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I mean, the extent, I think my dad's on Facebook, I'm not sure, but I don't think he has any friends. But my dad is...
He's a stalker then.
My dad's only just sort of started to learn how to go on YouTube.
Yeah. And I see that with a lot of the older generation, is that YouTube is probably the most user-friendly for them.
Yeah. My grandma,
Yeah.
always on YouTube.
My grandfather. But you know where it really sort of came in was when my papa sort of started using YouTube, but then wanted to save the videos. Oh my God.
Like, as in back then when you used to record it on VCR.
Yeah. Well, no, not on VCR. He used to want to save it to his computer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think this is a big thing, right? Is that that mature baby boomer generation assumes that the younger generations know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. But he'd be like, just save it for me. Just save it. And I'd be like, I don't know.
They don't do that anymore. You just go on it. It's already saved. It's uploaded.
But he wanted it so that he could include it in his slideshows and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, my dad's only just got onto YouTube. I think a little bit on Facebook, but that's about it.
Yep.
Mostly Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, trying to explain everything else to him, he just doesn't understand.
Yeah.
My mom's a lot more in tune now. But just sort of, like my dad with my youngest sister, just sort of like there's so much that he can't relate with her.
Yep.
And so there's so, like, you know, close relationship, but when it comes to talking about, you know, things that she's into, what she likes, and
Yeah.
he can't have that conversation. So he has no idea what's going on in her life, because he doesn't know, he hasn't adapted to that sort of world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like there's that that massive gap in generation and just being adaptable to things that are happening around.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in our world.
Do you reckon baby boomers and maturists are incapable of picking up on the latest tech?
If you're not, no.
And okay, cool. And then I had a second part. If your answer was just no.
Oh no, it was no. Oh, I was gonna say yes, but then I have I work with baby boomers and maturists, and they're pretty
They're pretty tech
yeah,
savvy?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you think that those baby boomers that can't get on to technology, do you think that deprives them of a connection?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Like my dad doesn't work in the office, so he doesn't really go on the computer all the time. He's like more labor work,
Right.
and the only time he actually you know, uses tech is when he's like, he still watches TV, like Foxtel.
Wow. Free to air?
Yeah, a lot of free to air, Foxtel. But then when he like there's specific things that he wants to watch, like that he can't get on TV. Now he's sort of learning how to use YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, like because he's not on it like, you know, he's every single day, or like, you know, how many hours a day, like, you know, people that I work with in the office, it's like he's so out of touch that he can't. Also because of the rapid change, he can't keep up, because he's only just learned YouTube, and now there's like TikTok, Instagram, like, you know what I mean?
So it's almost a necessity for parents, like, of any generation, to be up to date with technology in order to like properly raise their kids. I don't want to say properly. What's another word there? More closely sort of connect with their kids, or or have closer relationships.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to remove the way that you were conditioned as well in your childhood.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, there was a certain way that they were brought up, and they sort of still stick to those mentalities.
Right. Yep.
So learning to, you know, get in touch with like learning how to use YouTube and all of that, it's a big thing for them.
Yeah.
And like because there's so many things coming out, like my dad's just like, I can't be bothered. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
they're just like, okay, yeah, all right. I can't keep up. Like they actually, give up.
But your dad gets so much value from just YouTube, just free to air TV. I mean, he probably looks at all these social media things. He's like, well, what more value could I get?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing this could add to my life.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And but because because his child is in the alpha generation, right? So there was this other day I had a conversation with him and I was telling him about how, these kids can actually get money off like, doing videos and
Yeah.
gaming and all that. And that's probably where it sparked his interest in tech, because then after that he said, okay, what does she need to get,
What does your sister need?
yeah, what does my 12-year-old sister need to sort of, like, he's asking me, like, and a millennial, like, is, okay, what do you see as the best, thing for your sister? To get more, I don't know, follows or more,
Yeah.
to get paid.
Yeah.
Really. I was like, oh, she needs a phone. Bam, straight away, she got a phone.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Okay. So if it's kind of valuable or like adds monetary value,
Yep.
okay.
Then they will, really sort of try and figure out, okay, what is this then? And that's when they're interested.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't add value to them and they're, getting entertainment from just free to air, like, it's still available.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, well, what do I need to learn all these new things? I'm still getting, what I need from TV.
Yeah.
Like, I still get news on the TV, sports
Yeah.
on the TV. But once that's gone, I don't know. They'll probably have to learn.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The main so are we setting Gen Z up for failure? And I wanted to focus more on, because we're the generation before Gen Z. And most of us millennials are parents of Gen Z kids. You mentioned it before with mental health and how that's a massive thing that's growing within our generation.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
The visibility that we have since the rise of the internet.
Yes.
I think we're hearing more pain, we're hearing more hurt,
Yeah.
more violence, more unrest, more dishonesty. We want revenge more. But what it also increases is our powerlessness. We do not have the power to change as much as we want on social media, but it gives us a voice.
Okay.
But I think that it's opened it up so much that we kind of start comparing. Like we look at our friends' pages on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We see that they've progressed much further than us. I'm guilty of it.
Yes, me too.
And then I kind of have a different lens on my own life.
Yeah.
Not kind of looking at, I have my own path.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, there was a prescribed path for me, and I don't think that I followed it because I'm not as successful as this person.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why I think we kind of, we sponge up the negativity. Because once you kind of pass on anxiety and fear, like it gets soaked up a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Like within ourselves and to like what we teach our children or the next generation.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like there's a rise of it, like, and because of this increase, like there's more awareness of it. Like we've got Are You Okay Day,
Yep.
Movember. Beyond Blue. We've got infomercials in front of movies when we go to the theatre.
Yeah.
We've got billboards. We've got Lifeline.
And even the ads before the movies as well.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's notices at the end of movies as well on the credits sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's all over YouTube. Like the different ads on YouTube as well. The pop-ups that we get. It's the apps.
Yeah.
That we have that are focused on meditation and wellness. And then we've got the associated work services like EAP or Employee Assistance Program.
Yeah.
Built exactly for this purpose. So it's gotten more visibility, and now the world is kind of meeting it as well.
Yeah.
Because now we, like with the rise of Google, we're also seeing more infinite links between mental health and physical health. And because you can sort of see it, sometimes it kind of exacerbates it and makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I can't stop thinking like this. And then bang, you're kind of blocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how to get out of it. But I guess the positive side of it is it's breaking down the barrier of feeling weak to go and talk to someone.
Yeah.
I mean, it very well might have happened in the maturest generation, the baby boomers, Generation X. But there wasn't much visibility on it.
Yeah.
And now that people have like more visibility and can be more vocal about it on any platform, it's catered to.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing in terms of, pardon me, getting your message out there, getting help.
Yeah.
Accessibility for people that are in areas or can't afford the mental health support. But I think the negative comes in how we absorb all this information on the internet.
Yeah.
Because we take it in and it stays.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it stays and it guides how you feel about your own life. Which is a place that I stayed for a very long time. And for a portion of it, it drove what I did in terms of my career. But when my career wasn't the focus, it broke me down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you use that fuel, it's 100% like it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it can drive you.
Yeah.
But when it's not driving the thing that you're focused on anymore, it just builds up until it breaks you down.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, remember back, like, I know the previous generations and looking at mental health, and like if you had depression or anxiety, you were looked at as weak.
Yeah.
Everyone was so ashamed to admit that they were going through, mental health issues.
Yeah. I mean, you've probably seen in Generation X the rise of the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Where it was, in a way, for more on the higher socioeconomic scale, I have a shrink. I have a psychiatrist that I go to.
Yeah.
And then that kind of probably started there.
Yeah. Also, like, and I think with millennials, because we're, like with the advancement of tech as well, and we're caught in that, like, beginning, middle, and also end. But, like, we're at that stage where we sort of, it's almost moving too fast for us.
Yep.
And also, like, now that you're exposed to a lot of people, like, especially social media, it's addictive.
Mhm.
I mean, sorry, not just social media, phones, iPads. It's addictive.
It is.
And I was watching something, I think it was on Impact Theory with Simon Sinek, and he was saying that the feeling that you get from, you know, your phone is like the same feeling you get when you drink alcohol or smoke. Like, it's an addiction. But it's not being seen as an addiction because there has no, there is no restrictions to it. So it's just the norm. But I mean, it actually releases this, releases dopamine, high levels of dopamine, and that, like, everyone's just got access to it. So it's almost like you were saying, use the analogy like having, a cupboard full of alcohol, and we're just opening it up for our kids to just have access to. Like, here you go.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, and instant gratification as well. Like, posting something on social media and getting the likes and follows, and that's what you focus on. Like, oh, well, I'm popular because I've got a lot of people liking this.
Yeah.
So when they don't like it, it's like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me. Like,
Yeah.
And then also with, Instagram filters, like changing up a photo of yourself so that you actually look flawless. I mean, they have apps now that you can actually make yourself look thinner. Get rid of blemishes.
Catfish.
Yeah. 100%. Like, I think there was one I did of you years ago where I actually gave you boobs and an ass. But yeah, I mean, like, to just be able on your phone, to just be able to alter your appearance, and, post it up and say, this is me, you know what I mean?
This is my online personality.
Yeah. And sort of like, it's that addiction of, people's validation, people's acceptance. I mean, in the normal transition to adolescence is like such a really confusing period for them. And, at first in their childhood, they're, seeking approval from their parents. This is what Simon Sinek says. You're seeking approval from your parents. But when you transition into adolescence, then, you're now seeking approval from your peers.
Yes.
And, like going back to school, like we were like that. We wanted to be popular. We wanted to be in with the clique. We wanted to, be accepted all the time. We didn't want to be that, loner, which I ended up being. But you know what I mean? Like, I hated school because of that. Yeah, like that was the biggest thing in high school, was just being one of the cool kids.
Yeah.
And now, this generation, it's acceptance by peers through social media, which is why it's so addictive to them to have, like, it's an addiction that, they need to have this number of likes, they need to have this number of followers, because then that means I'm more popular than, the kid at school, the other kid at school. Because, like, yeah, I might not have any friends at school, but online I have so many follows.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it just, the level, the access, the number of the level of access that these kids have to tech, and how easy it is to also access porn.
Yep.
Like, these, like, it's, it doesn't, like, you can see why it's sort of, there's a confusion with it with millennials. Like, we're becoming a lot more antisocial. I mean, and sort of not going out there and meeting people. We're not sort of like dating is it's almost gone. You know what I mean? That doesn't exist anymore. Like I swear, like people around me, I think I know more people that have, had online relationships and then sort of got married to actually going out and doing the whole what did they call it back in the day? Courting.
Sounds very old fashioned.
But I don't know, personally, I think for me the biggest like fear and anxiety is that things are moving so rapidly, and I feel like I'm still way behind. And then I see how fast people advance in their careers and stuff, and mostly online as well. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm still in the mentality where it's important to work 9 to 5 job, and these guys are like, have actually just gone out there and did something different and have made it. And like, I'm working my ass off over here for what? Just to pay the bills.
I honestly think it's, again, going back to Brody, he's not limited by what it can do. His horizons are completely broad.
Yeah.
Like, the things that he finds valuable or convenient for him, he will create.
Yeah.
I think. And I think that's what the next generation is doing. Like, it's funny you touch on, like your view on, it's not social to, like, we're getting more antisocial. The next generation's getting more antisocial.
Yeah.
But in their eyes, they might even be more social.
Yeah.
Because, like, meeting up in public might be what happens after you've been social on social media and kind of had group chats and on WhatsApp.
True.
You might be doing a party chat on Xbox or something like that. So your relationships are still live. They're just live on different mediums.
Yeah.
And then we get like the rise of like Tinder, Grindr, what's those other online? eHarmony.
That's it. I don't know any
That's the ones that I guess I know as well. But like, they're looking for the perfect match, the perfect night, the perfect date. You know what I mean? And it's taking out that wasting my time with people that aren't compatible.
Yeah.
Because we also live in a very time poor society.
Yeah.
So like we might not be following the tradition, but we are following the convenience.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And that, again, that goes back to trying to understand their world, not our world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even think of it that way.
But it's because we're now drifting further away, whereas Brody's kind of rushing towards whatever the next thing is.
Yeah. And like, how do you, we touched on respect before, but how do you keep, like, how, my struggle is, I don't know how to create or ingrain those values and, like, things like manners and behaviors and, the right behaviors, and all of that, when everything's just digital. Like, I look at Brody, and there are times, like, he's human, like, but, like, it sounds wrong, but a lot of times he acts like a robot because he's so zoned out and he's in this world, and like, you could stand in front of him and say hello and he would not see you.
Yep.
like that's gonna be these kids, like, you know, their generation.
Yeah.
Like, how can you sort of, you know, find that balance to teach him, like, you know, other things, like, you know, the right behaviors, respect, and all of that.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like we're pushing towards something ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So we've got things that we want to do
Mm.
together individually while still committing to the duties that we need to fulfill as parents, as partners and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We need to give Brody an alternative to the iPad.
Mm.
And that alternative is a lot more time intensive.
Mm.
So we can't have it both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that's the Gen Y version of the latchkey kid.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Where it's, you don't have the mother that's at home constantly. That's not expected.
Yeah.
The father doesn't have to go to the office or stay in the same job for their whole life. Your child is probably a lot more vocal and active on social media than you think, and further progressed in technology. But the alternative is, let's do something that fits those things for you, but isn't that.
Yeah.
But I also think that whatever thing that children sort of follow and go into, we will never be happy with it.
Yeah. 100%.
We'll never see it as our normal.
Yeah.
Because it's not like sort of aimed at us. And like we're not conditioned for it.
Yeah. Like, what advice would you give to a parent that is 2 generations up from their kids? Like, you know, for example, it's a lot easier for us to understand Brody's world because we're creating that world for him, right?
Yeah.
Where there's, you know, other parents that, like, you know, there's parents of alpha generations that are actually in Gen X.
Yeah.
Or baby boomer. Like,
yeah.
What kind of advice would you, you know, say to them on how to deal with this new generation? Or how can, like, you know, yeah.
How to deal with the generation.
Yeah.
I would say, like, don't destroy or try to separate your child from technology. Because in doing that, you will destroy your own relationship with them. I feel.
Yeah.
Like, people have got to be self-aware, or parents need to be self-aware that they are disconnected from what their kids are doing. Unless they are doing those exact same things, they're going to be very, very different.
Yeah.
Because children aren't solitary. They don't live in a vacuum or a bubble. They interact with kids that do the exact same things as them.
Yeah.
Like, Brody comes home and says, yeah, school was fine, we did nothing, but my friend plays Fortnite.
Yeah.
So if you're stopping your children from from sort of having a relationship with technology, you're effectively stopping them from progressing socially. And also following the next thing.
Yeah. And their career as well.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, everything is going to be very technology focused in the future. And we're going to be behind the 8 ball because we're from a different generation.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to play catch up, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, children will learn how to code by the time they leave primary school. They will learn how to edit videos and shoot film by the time they leave high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Engineering.
yeah, they'll learn skills, like actual skills that they'll use in their digital life
Yeah.
from like this moment on. I reckon we'll have in 5 years courses on how to properly like sort of type on like social media,
Yeah.
like with all the definitions for the anagrams, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we tried to go into that course, I guarantee you we'd be shit out of luck.
I don't know. But yeah.
You reckon you could keep up?
For the first half of their lives, yes.
What do you think?
Like my advice.
Yeah.
I think it will also tie into the other question that we had is, how to motivate your teenagers to work.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't one of the questions we had. I think that you need to redefine or look at the word work for their generation. That's going to completely change. What we see as work at the moment is not going to be the same for them.
Yeah.
This next generation, their world is going to be filled with AI, augmented reality, digital, VR, things that,
Space travel.
flying cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's already happening right now. There's a lot of us Gen X and millennials that are currently working on all of this for the Gen Z generation. But those that are not in touch with that, like, my advice is that work is going to be different. Like, it's not going to be like we need to push them to do a 9-to-5 job anymore.
Yeah.
Working from home, we're already seeing that now in COVID-19.
As the new norm.
This is going to be where it all changes.
Mm-hmm.
Even look at maybe, for me personally, I'm looking at university for Brody. Unless he's passionate about something in uni, I'll 100% support him. But if he doesn't, I'm fine with him, actually doing something else.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you got to focus on what they're passionate about, not what you're passionate about.
Yes.
Because a lot of, for example, my dad, growing up, it was his dream that we'd go to uni. We didn't, but
yeah.
It was his dream that after school we go to uni, because that's sort of the measure of success for a young adult.
Right.
That's not going to happen anymore. Like with the rapid change of technology these days, I'd be surprised if kids are even finishing school. I'd be even more surprised that the current curriculums in schools are going to change, stay the same. That's going to change as well. So don't sort of try and change them to adapt to your world. You're going to have to adapt to their world, because they've got, it's now their time. And this, like, in our generation, the millennial generation, that's going to be we're right now in the process of, the beginning of a futuristic world. If you can actually, look, sort of take that in, that this world is going to be futuristic, then, sort of like, okay, I have no idea what this is about, but I will go with what what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I hope. I don't know. He's like, I don't want to work at all. Like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to play games. Oh well, actually, yeah, gaming. You get paid for that.
Yeah. He could be extremely successful, join an esports team, and then just make more than we ever thought we could.
Yeah. I mean, looking at my own life, I didn't know what I wanted with my life until now. Like, and I'm 32.
Yep.
Like, there's, there. I think for kids, the best thing that they need to do is just try everything and anything, different things, and then for them to sort of feel, find, okay, that's the thing that I'm passionate about.
Yep.
Because right now they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I reckon parents will need to tap into, why does this kid need to go and work? For me, I needed to work because I needed to pay bills. My family needed it. If a teenager needs to go to work now, do they need to because like they're in the same position? Like some circumstances permit that your child will need to go to work
Yeah.
to help support at home.
True. Yeah, that's true.
But like if this kid has had everything handed to them since day one, they never really had to work for anything. They just focused on school.
Yeah.
Like it's a big jump into the workforce.
Yeah.
Unless of course the way you sell it is like you can do these things for yourself. Not please go find a job because I want you to find a job. Because I kind of think as a generation sort of moved on, it was less about making your parents proud.
True.
And more about what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm glad you touched on that because it reminded me of what Gary Vee said that, yes, everything's going to move fast, everything's going to be digital, but it's the timing, like, that's important. Like, we might be jumping ahead and looking at this futuristic world, but the first half of Gen Z's life is still like, they need to, like, right now we're not in a futuristic, time state now, like to that level that we're looking at. So they still need to do the 9 to 5 job. That's still a thing right now. How do we get those kids to how do we motivate those teens to work? But he said, like, I think for most of the kids, I know for my own siblings, they finish school and they feel, and I don't know if like this is entitled, but they feel like they need a year break to not do anything.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot of middle class families, because they're okay, they can like
afford.
they can afford it. These kids are staying home, not doing anything. So there's no motivation for them to go out there and look for a job because mom and dad's got the bills covered anyway.
Yeah.
But what Gary Vee was saying, that's the best time for kids to try different things.
Yeah.
You don't have to look for work to in line with the career path. Like, if you do, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you have no idea, like I did when I finished school, I had no idea what kind of career path I was going to get on. But it's just like what he said, try different things, work here and there.
Yeah.
Work a year here or a few months there. I've seen it when we were working, the last job we were working at together, we were getting getting younger employees, like younger than us, like because we'd have been there how many years. So now there was a new generation that came in that were younger than us, and they only stayed for a couple of months.
So when I worked at this call center recently, it was all young people.
Yeah.
And even their progression would be really, really quick. Like in the door, 9 months later, you're a team leader.
Yeah.
And then like 24 months later, you're like well on your way to really sort of climbing the ladder.
Yeah. And I think that's the one of the advantages this young generation has is that they have a lot more confidence than we did.
Yeah.
And they, if they want to progress, they will progress because they're confident that they will.
Yep.
It's not a matter of skill anymore.
Yep.
I would say, but they're very good at networking.
Yes.
And they're very good at sort of finding how to do it.
But also, you know what I find as well is making the social media aspect of it normal. Like, oh, what's your LinkedIn or what's your Facebook or something like that. I sound corny as shit when I say stuff like that. Like it just it feels wrong to me.
Yeah.
And I think that natural sort of feeling,
Yeah.
like, is what drives like those connections.
Yeah. Like actually, like
I don't know why I was hulaing it.
but like, you know, when you like I still find it weird that when when you're going somewhere and you see somebody taking a selfie or talking or vlogging,
Yeah.
even, like, to me I'm like, whoa, like, look at that person.
Yeah.
Like, to me it's like so weird, but to them it's so normal. Like they can walk around with this camera in front of their face just talking to a camera.
In public.
Yeah.
Not in like a closed room where like you lock the doors.
Shut the blinds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they've, and plus this generation, they have Google, they have access to everything.
Yeah.
So they know everything. They have the answers. I mean, like anything that they're not sure of, they just Google and the answer's there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're like, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be hard for them to get into the workforce, but it might be hard to motivate them because this generation, I find, will do whatever they want until they're ready. I mean, until they're ready, they will do what they want. Like it's hard. Like I'm even looking at my younger siblings. Like, man, it's 2 years now after school.
So before we go into our last question, what's one word that you would use to describe the future generations?
Other than alpha.
other than alpha, or entitled, or Y1 or Y2, whatever it is.
I don't know. I would say Iron Man.
I was gonna say enhanced.
Just made mine sound like so like shit.
No, this is not.
It's like a little kid. Iron Man enhanced.
Well, Iron Man fits, right? We've had that entire generation raised on the MCU movie properties.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm
that's
also
the
looking
norm.
at their idea of Jarvis coming up soon.
Yeah.
Where Alexa is gonna be a big thing.
Yeah.
And how these kids are gonna have that in their hands.
Yeah. I was thinking enhanced or augmented because these, like, the generations that follow will have a lot more support in terms of Neuralink or things that will enhance their mobility, their brain power, like their connection.
Man, they probably won't even be on this earth with, like,
their travel.
Yeah. I mean, there's a space race happening. Who can get they're looking at, human migration into other planets. The new discovery of, like, I think 2008 they discovered that there was water on the moon. And sort of I think that sparked this whole race that they're, there's opportunity there to sort of explore. And I think that they're gonna, create some sort of hub on the moon to then, jump into Mars and, do testing and stuff. But there's a lot of exciting things coming up. Scary, but exciting.
This is a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
Right? What if me and you went to Mars when Brody was like 25? So that would make us, we'd be mid-50s.
Yeah.
Right? But because Mars is further away...
Oh, damn.
further away from the sun
Yeah.
than Earth, so the rotation would be a lot longer, right?
Mm.
So Brody would age more rapidly than us.
Mm.
And then we met up, and he was 55, and we were like 65.
Mm.
That would be nuts, eh?
Yeah.
Because that might be a real thing that comes up.
Yeah. Time.
Yeah.
What is it? Relativity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you might age a lot slower.
True.
Mm.
Would you live, like, say if Mars, we found out that we can live on Mars, humans can live on Mars, but they had to go through and, build it up again and say it had to be exactly like Earth, like generation by generation. So we're like the early, say, I don't know, first civilization of Earth is now Mars. And we have to sort of go through all of that, like everything that happened before to where it is now.
Yep.
Whereas on Earth, we're more futuristic, more alienish, pretty much. Everything is tech. There's now no more emotion. There's just like robotic behaviors. Everything's AI. Yeah, like, which world would you live in? Would you prefer to live in?
The tech one.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I'm going to live longer. You?
Mars, because
I'm getting the fuck out of here. All right. Damn.
No, but imagine that, hey, because you said that, like, we would age slower if we were on Mars. So imagine taking everything, like, all the ideas and shit, and then being, like, this, like, genius entrepreneur
So
on Mars.
Where does Brody stay?
Earth. There's no way this kid will survive on Mars.
True. Without an internet connection. My iPad isn't working.
Where's the Wi-Fi?
I can't watch Ryan's Toys review.
Imagine it was like the opposite though.
When Mars was more tech advanced. All right. We are getting into a very sciencey sort of pod about something that's very introspective.
True.
So, our last question. Are we setting Gen Z up for failure or success?
I think... mostly success. I think, honestly, if we can tackle mental health and it's happening where there's so much more positivity, motivational videos and that out there, but if everybody sort of can sort of overcome their mental health issues, which has been like a big thing in our generation, if we can do that, and sort of teach, the next generation, like, what we've learned, how to deal with mental health issues when it arises, I think then we'll be setting them up for full success. I think career-wise, wherever tech is leading, I think that's just a given that they're going to be successful. But yeah, if we can, on the the behavior side of it, if we could sort of like show them how to sort of tap into to certain states of mind to actually be a lot more happier and more find more fulfillment in things and follow their passions, yeah, would definitely set them up for success. What do you think?
I don't believe it's up to us.
Yeah.
I think the next generation will define success by themselves, because we're almost saying, are we setting them up for the success that we envision? But they will envision a different level of success.
True.
I think the next generations will eclipse us in terms of the things that they do and the barriers they break down. They'll discover new worlds, new materials,
Yeah, true.
new technology, and whatever vision of success that we had, they will surpass it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like anything, I think, well, not like anything, but like technology, the generations are just, they're moving quicker, they're learning quicker, they're almost evolving quicker. And it will be, do we measure up to Gen Z's vision of success in the future?
I don't think the future generations do look at the previous generations as success, because we're a lot more knowledgeable.
No, that's why I said, will we measure up to Gen Z's vision of success? Because we'll still be active in that world.
Yeah, true.
And I think, in summary, that should be the focus. Like, I believe that the generations that will follow will need to look back and like look at the things that like we've done to learn from it, and to push forward.
Yeah.
But it will be the job of the generations past to make the effort to learn what the newer generations are doing, what they want, how they are, in order to 100% connect with them.
True.
Because we've got generations that are twice removed, thrice removed in some situations. We know someone.
Yeah.
And in order to understand them, and in turn, in order to motivate and propel them forward in their life, we'll need to be on the tip of that forefront of technology.
True. Yeah, true.
Or we get left behind, and we're like, in 60 years, we're going, well, what does this app called Rickrock do? I don't know. It's like blocks that make video. You know what I mean?
When just sorry on that, when with each generation we pass on, like, we've seen that we pass on a negative trait to the next generation. Are we not going to be doing that with Gen Z? Are we doing that now, actually, because it's the first part of Gen Z that are already like starting to enter the workforce right now?
We might get a lot more Gen Zers talk about mental health a lot earlier.
Yeah.
and want to confront that.
True. Yeah, true. Okay.
Do you have anything else to add?
No. Do you think we covered that well? Hope so.
Well, if we miss anything, just let us know.
Yeah.
We don't know everything on this. We're not experts. We are digging and mining our own personal experience and the knowledge that we've acquired to try put it in one place for you to listen. So if we missed something or if you got a different point of view, let us know.
Please.
Yeah, we're like really, really interested in hearing it. Anything else?
No.
That was a good conversation. I like that conversation.
Same. Like, it was good to sort of look at, mom and grandma and all their generations as well. I haven't done, I don't really think about that.
And I think this is a good sort of parting line. If your relative who is a maturist, a baby boomer, or Gen Xer that isn't up on technology sends you an emoji, just know that that's love because they are trying to connect with you.
100%. And have patience.
Yes.
A lot of patience.
Okay, going into our quote. We'll do quote or we're going to do gratitude?
I thought it was gratitude and then quote.
Gratitudes first. All right, cool. I'll go first. So, really grateful for Jules's energy this week, which has been it's been infectious, and it's inspired me to institute a whole bunch of changes for next week so I can better myself. Brody's all right. He was sick in the week, so he's recovered from that. And we've also gotten some insight from the doctor that we visited, which has helped us a little bit too.
Yeah.
We celebrated another birthday today.
Yeah.
Which was beautiful. And it was the first time. And this is my fourth one. It was my first time seeing all of my family under one roof. For the first time in 3 months. Restrictions have gone down. We're allowed 20 people in the same room while we're visiting. So that was awesome. And I have recently started a new exercise routine that I'm really, really loving, inspired by David Goggins. And I'm loving the motivation to do it. I've actually, I haven't been too bad. I went 3 times.
Yeah, you smashed it
in the last week. And
I died.
and it was really, really good. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Grateful for this week. I think I got back into researching more about self-development and all that. I just feel like I've opened so much in my mind that I needed clarity on. I'm so pumped for the future, and I'm so excited for what's coming ahead, especially our plans. We've got bigger plans coming up. So just so excited. And yeah, I'm grateful for Brody recovering from his asthma. He was off school this week, so by Thursday he was much better, and back to his cheeky backtalk entitled self.
Entitled his alpha self.
And grateful to you for our workout. I think I only worked out once. I think it was once last week, and I died. But man, just watching you killed it. You were awesome, and that was a really, really good workout. That ended up being the last one for me that week. But hopefully this week I'm gonna be a lot better. And grateful for, yeah, family. Celebrated our niece's birthday. She turned 3.
Mm.
And also coming up brother-in-law's 60th. So got a few birthdays this month. Yeah, always special to, celebrate another year.
Mm.
And I think that's all I have.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you for sharing those gratitudes.
And thank you for listening.
All right. So the quote I've got, it's funny because it's almost like this reflection of how we've seen generations moving forward. So the quote comes from E.O. Wilson. I'm not too sure what their name is.
Oh, okay.
It's E.O. Wilson.
All right.
So the quote is, "Change will come slowly across generations because old beliefs die hard even when demonstrably false." Which is like, it's really, really funny because the generations are moving so much quicker. And the old beliefs are carried on, but also new beliefs are created every day within these generations.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. We will be back next week.
Yes.
And yeah, take care of yourself and stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay positive.